Hello, hello. Old Dad here, and I just got done watching SmackDown, and man, was it good. Man, was it good. LA Knight said something that it's going to be ringing out forever. It's going to be ringing out. Every time Drew McIntyre comes around, he's going to hear what LA Knight said. You know it's going to happen because LA Knight's that good on the mic. I'll give you the best match. I'll tell you the standout. I gotta point this out because I just can't hold it in. Alexa Bliss took Sister Abigail and turned it into a DDT, and that made old Dad smile. Let me give you the full recap. Let's get to this. Hello, hello. Old Dad here, and we're getting ready to watch Raw. Now, here's what I'm excited about. Alexa Bliss makes her in-ring wrestling one-on-one debut type thing. I know she was in the Royal Rumble, but she's going to be one-on-one against Candice LeRae. I'm anxious to see that. Drew McIntyre is supposed to be there. I know LA Knight's going to be there. Old Dad's all in. So let's get to watching this. So Cody comes out. Jay calls out Cody. They talk about the world title. You know he ain't going for the world title. You know it's going to be Jay versus Gunther. But then Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu comes out. Jacob Fatu starts talking. And then he's just like, if anybody's going to win that title back for this family, it ain't going to be you. And he said that to Jay. It ends up with the super kick. It ends up with a Cody Cutter, double clothesline, knocks him out of the ring, goes to a commercial. Prior to the commercial, you got to see the tag team champs, the women's tag team champs. They look good. They always look good. But we're at a commercial. Bianca Belair versus Piper Niven. That was an amazing match. You knew it was going to end in a power game, though, because I truly believe that they're setting it up for Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill. You know, and it's going to be power versus power. They're not even going to display the fact that Bianca Belair can do everything in that ring. She's the Apollo Crews of women. She's outstanding. But that match, she got pummeled. She brought it back. Ended. Boom. KOD. Beautiful. Now we get to the point where we get to see Carmelo Hayes. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. We're at the next segment, though. We gotta watch this. DIY came out. They were going there doing their blah, 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 blah. We're so great, and let's mourn this team. Let's mourn that team. Pretty Deadly comes out there just like, hey, we've helped you. We've done this stuff for you. What about us? You made us a promise. Blah, blah, blah. And then Nick Aldis comes out, and he's like, that match is happening. If you win, you get a title match. That match is next. I like Pretty Deadly. Just like Motor City Machine Guns, they have tag team moves that takes two people that are tag team moves. Now, don't get me wrong. I like them. I want to see them win. They don't stand a chance if Ciampa just goes in and beats them up. Just saying, they can win. It could happen. You know, Ciampa and DIY's a bad guy set, so it could happen. But let's be real. If they just unhooked Ciampa, took him off his leash, he would go and just beat them both up. It would be over. I can't wait to see this match. I can't wait to see this match. But we are at a commercial. DIY versus Pretty Deadly, and that was good. That was good. There was a minute that I thought Ciampa was going to unleash and just pummel. I thought Ciampa was just going to pummel him. And then the blonde guy from Pretty Deadly started a punching battle. I was like, that ain't Pretty Deadly. That's pretty dumb. Don't get in a punching battle with Ciampa. Oh my gosh. You're not that guy. Nobody is. Maybe Drew McIntyre. Maybe LA Knight. But LA Knight would pull out a move. He wouldn't just stay punching Ciampa. He'd know better. Anyway, it ended in a roll-up. And I just found out Drew McIntyre's wrestling. And he's wrestling LA Knight and Jimmy Uso. Oh, wow, do I want to see that. This night's getting better and better and gooder and gooder and better and gooder and wow. But we're at a commercial. That was fun. Yeah, it was nothing but talkie. But who talked? Who talked? First, Drew McIntyre talked. And he was like, hey, I got told that they're letting the gloves off. That I can just be me. And I'm coming for the title. And blah, blah, blah. I loved it. It was Drew McIntyre. He pointed out the fact that he went home in his big bed, in his big home with his hot wife. And he looked in the mirror and said, Drew, you're a big man and you're jacked or something like that. It was funny. You should see it. Anyway, then Jimmy came out, interrupted him. And he was like, you got to get through Big Jim. Jimmy talked. It was fun. It's fun to watch Jimmy talk. But then Drew McIntyre, LA Knight came out. And he was like, I want to do this. As a man, I want to let you know that it's okay to cry. For all you men out there, for all you little boys, it's okay if you cry. It doesn't make you less of a man. But Drew, sometimes you take it too far. All you do is cry. And then he called him Drew McIntyre. Oh my, I lost it. I lost it. It was the funniest thing. And they're getting to the match. The match is coming up next. So does that mean Alexa Bliss versus Candice LeRae is the main event? Because that's the one I'm calling as the best match anyway. We still have another match in there too, though. Tozawa, which you know he's good. Once he gets around, you know he's good. You know he's amazing. And he's taken on one of my favorites. Oh my gosh. I can't think of his name. But we're at a commercial. Carmelo Hayes. Commercial. Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, Jimmy Uso. That match was so back and forth. I thought he was going to win. Goes for the BFT. Claymore in the back of the head. Drew McIntyre. Don't get me wrong. I thought LA Knight had it. I thought Jay had it at one point. Not Jay, Jimmy. I thought Jimmy had it at one point. He did the Uso splash. He went to do the splash again, got rolled up. I thought it was over. That match was terrific. That match, right now, That's the best match of the night. Had some slow points. Had some real slow points. But boy, did it take off at the end. And Drew McIntyre going to the Elimination Chamber. Drew McIntyre becoming champion. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But that Claymore looked like it would knock anybody out. I don't care. Back of the head Claymore. That was brutal. All right. That was that one. That was that one. We're moving on to the next. So I was sure that match was going to steal the show. I was sure of it. Because it was Carmelo Hayes versus Tozawa. Both fast-paced, both great moves. He did this kick. That's how he ended it. That was so high. Ow. Ow. Carmelo Hayes wins, though. I'm happy. I'm a happy old dad. Here is why. If Carmelo Hayes lost that match, there might have been a tear for old dad. That man's just way too talented. And then he leaves with Tozawa's shirt wrapped around him. That was funny. But honestly, Carmelo Hayes, he's so talented. If I knew I had a match, I would hate to know that it was after Carmelo Hayes. And then, look at that hair. Look at that hair. It's like, anyway, I would hate to know that was going on after Carmelo Hayes. And him with someone as high-flying and fast as Tozawa? Yikes. You know what they did, though? They put a big old commercial in there. So you didn't catch most of that match. Because they knew it, too. And speaking of, we are at a commercial. Charlotte Flair. Do I have to say anything more? Charlotte Flair. Tiffany Stratton, she wants Charlotte Flair to pick her because she says, everybody says I'm a Charlotte Flair wannabe. And then she's like, so I'm going to beat Charlotte Flair so I can be the one Tiffany Stratton. What is that white thing that's on my shirt? Look at that. It's gone now. I'm going to have to run the sweeper. Anyway, Nia Jax came out. She says, we got a match next week. Charlotte, if you pick this one, you'll be facing me. Next week's sounding exciting. I ain't going to lie. However, the main thing to take away from all that, Charlotte Flair. Now, outside of that, Alexa Bliss came out. It's going to be Alexa Bliss versus Candice LeRae. Please let her be the 6th member of the Wyatt Six. Begging. She had control of Bray. Remember the storyline prior to everything? Prior to Bray, she had control of Bray. The Fiend would stop what he was doing because Alexa was there. Let her take control of the Wyatt Six. Begging. Kind of like Charlotte Flair asked Tiffany to do. On my hands and knees, please. We're at a commercial. Okay, Alexa Bliss just faced Candice LeRae. You knew it was going to be good because even if Alexa Bliss was bad, Candice LeRae is like the Christian Cage of the women's division. You remember Christian Cage whenever he would go and the person would be hurt or something like that? And they would want to keep going on TV, so they'd start facing Christian Cage and he'd make them look great. or the person was just absolutely terrible, but then they faced Christian Cage and they looked great. That's Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae, she can make me look good. With that being said, Alexa Bliss really did look good, though. She looked like, they say she didn't miss a beat. She wasn't quite the same as she was. That's going to take a while. You know, when old dad wakes up and he starts to take a walk, he feels like he's like breaking off rust. And that's just what happens to old dad in the mornings. She's got to break off some rust. But did she look good? She looked great. And she won. She won the match. Top it off. She went for Sister Abigail and turned it into a Sister Abigail DDT. Is she going to go? Is she going to join the Wyatts? Oh, please. Old Dad needs that. That would be a win for Old Dad's camp. Old Dad would be happy. Happy Old Dad. All right, though. We're at a commercial. Next match, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga versus Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. Let's not forget that they were tag team champions for a hot minute. If Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga win this match, just want to throw it out. If they win this match, then that little tidbit of Tama Tonga looking at the tag team championships, they're in line. But again, we're at a commercial. The match was good, but the ending was better. Okay, so let me start out with, I love the fact that Tama Tonga looked good. Tama Tonga looked really good in that match. Now, we all know how that match was going to end. Cody Rhodes was going to get the pin. Tama Tonga was going to take the pin. Jay basically put Jacob Fatu out, this, that, the other. It ended with a Samoan spike. Old Dad's happy. Cypher called it. She was just like, here's the thing. The storyline, they're going to add to the storyline. You know, if it's got only this much time and stuff like that, let me go ahead and close this TV out. She said if it's only got this much time and they're taking their time with their entrances, it's going to be a storyline end. They're going to add to the story. They did. Solo Sikoa is back. And it ended with him spiking Cody. Old Dad's happy. What is he going to call his group? Is he going to have a group? Are they all going to work together? Is Solo going to be the lead? So many questions. I need the answers. I do. Old Dad needs the answers. But my favorite match of the night, clearly, LA Knight, Jimmy Uso, Drew McIntyre. That match was great. That match had everything. It's good that they put it so far ahead of the main event. It really is. Because if it was right before the main event, well, the main event would have been poop. That's an Old Dad opinion. I could be wrong. Leave a comment below if you think differently. But I think that match stole the show. I think the finishing of that match was just crazy. A Claymore to the back of the head. Ow. I'm still hurting, and I'm not the one that got Claymored. And the guy that stole the show, and it was a guy that stole the show, LA Knight stole the show. And, you know, my favorite part, Cypher's reaction to the whole LA Knight and Drew McIntyre. It was just funny. It was so funny. Anyway, Thank you for hanging out with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Later.